Hey everyone, it's Jen with Spirited Saturdays, and today we are talking about a topic that is close to my heart, which is all or nothing thinking, black or white thinking, seeing things as all good or all bad. And this is something that I have struggled with. It's just been one of my issues that's been there, that I've struggled with for a very long time. It's still something that I struggle with, but it has, even though in the vein of all or nothing thinking, in the moment it feels like I haven't made any progress with it because of because of that very thing. I see when I'm not in the thick of it that I have made progress with it. So I would really love to share with you things that I have learned, things that help me, just perspectives that I've gained on the issue. And so, yeah, basically, I mean, all or nothing thinking, it could play out like you think you see yourself as good or bad, so you think you're a good person until you you do something, as Ariel said, you do something that you're not proud of. Sorry, Ariel made the topic, and in the description she said, sometimes we do things that we're not proud of. And then you see yourself as a bad person or no longer a good person. It could play out that way. It could be like everything is great, and then one thing that you see as bad happens, and then everything all of a sudden is just not good at all anymore. And really, yeah, or just seeing life in terms of totally good or totally bad, or just kind of at the whim of being one extreme or the other, not having a core sense of balance. That's kind of how it's been for me. Some of that overlaps with bipolar disorder, depression, borderline personality disorder. Yeah, just as an issue all by itself. I mean, I think that a lot of people have it. I think a lot of people, I think it's a common theme, threading throughout a lot of different types of just personalities, issues, especially eating disorders. That's, of course, a big one, and it was a proponent, of mine, and a perpetuator of mine in many ways. So, so in terms of all or nothing thinking, it could kind of go like this. So we might feel like we're good people, right? And then as I was saying earlier, we do something we're not proud of. We might feel like everything is great and that we are on the top floor of a building, and then one not so great thing happens, and it brings everything else down to the basement level. And so all of the good stuff just down to the basement, even though it was seemingly good. It suddenly cancels out the greatness of what just was, or of who we are. And that's the other thing. I think often we tend to combine the two, like what happens or what's going on and who we are, and we kind of internalize negative experiences and make them about the kind of person that we are. So that often happens. It's happened to me a lot. So, and so if we're feeling like one bad thing, first of all, is going to put us into this bad person category, the first thing is that we clearly do not have enough reserves built up within us. And so we need to build reserves. If we're feeling like the things that we enjoy or the things that we value about ourselves and about our environment are at the mercy of being rendered moot at the drop of a hat, we need to build our reserves. We need to remember that even the great stuff isn't going to feel great all of the time, but that just because it doesn't feel great all of the time doesn't mean that A, it doesn't have the potential to feel great again, and B, that it was never there. It was there, and it has the potential to be experienced again. We have to understand that if we see the world in an external way, and if we see things as just happening to us, then we will be at the mercy of all good or all bad, because none of it will seem to be in our control. If we view ourselves as the director of our experiences, as the director of our reactions and interpretations of experiences, we have more of a say, and we can have more leverage over how high or how low that bar goes. or how little or how much we have to lose in any given moment. Instead of saying all good or all bad, let's just call it a continuous experience. We are always growing. What we perceive as bad is just a natural, inherent part of growth. It has to be there for us to learn, for us to have more good moments. Let me talk about the difference between something good and something joyful. So the difference between goodness and joy. Because good can be seen as a judgment, and good can be conditional. Whereas joy, you can find joy in anything, and not just what is externally good. If something requires your focus and ignites passion, even if it's hard, even if it doesn't feel great, it can still bring you joy. It can still bring you purpose. We have power over what we render good or bad. And so someone yesterday gave me the example of mountain climbing. So we can enjoy mountain climbing because we are mastering something and getting somewhere and really feeling very strong and being completely in the moment, completely focused and connected to the moment and to ourselves and to the process. And we can feel very strong. But that isn't to say that it is all pleasurable or necessarily all good. It's very hard, but it is empowering, and it's strengthening, and it's just purposeful. So the point is that we can really render anything beneficial. So we can change the words good or bad and say beneficial across the board. And we can say serving a purpose across the board. Or we can say it's a tool that is being presented to me where I can learn how to build myself up across the board. And so we can see otherwise bad things as self-building things. And so these are the things that have helped me in my life to deal with and to get some balance and resolve from all or nothing thinking. Remembering my strengths. Reality checking with others. Is this really how it seems to me? Pausing and taking a deep breath. Developing alternate ways of looking at a situation. Alternate perspectives. And then, if necessary, running those alternate perspectives by others to see if they make sense to others. Not that they wouldn't hold on their own, but it can always help to get an additional perspective from somebody else, somebody that you trust, who has that outside perspective. Taking yourself out of the all-consuming moment by distracting yourself. So really anything, that could mean anything. Just getting yourself out of the moment and just watching something funny on YouTube, or going to an environment where you're really focused on what's around you, whatever it is. Reading a good book that just kind of takes all your energy or just focuses you on that, following a plot, a movie. Gave an example. I got example crazy with that one. Okay, panning out the screen, excuse me, looking at a situation holistically, not locking into a single moment where everything feels heightened. So looking at the situation so that you're not paralyzed or frozen within a moment, but panning it out and seeing it kind of in a broader perspective, a little bit of a distance perspective, that can sometimes help. Realizing that this moment of perceiving something as all or nothing is going to pass. Remembering that this has happened before and that the wave calms down. Projecting ahead to the part where it calms down. Acknowledging the frame where it begins to calm down so you can embed that and pick up from there the next time. This is something also I heard yesterday. So yeah, when things feel amazing, but they're at the mercy of feeling awful, it's important to find something within yourself to hold on to so that you can feel anchored. So going to a place of calm within yourself can really, really do that for you. And remembering, too, that you're just connected to the people who would anchor you or who would help you feel that way, even if they're not there in that moment. Remembering them, just thinking of them helps. It can help. on that note, if there's something that someone said to you that really, really struck you, excuse me, I have to sneeze. I won't. If there's something someone said to you that really struck you, hold on to that and take it out. Sorry. I'm sorry. Hold on to that and take it out, like hold it in your pocket and take it out of your pocket. At the moment, you start to question your inherent goodness. So if somebody has said something to you, it had an impact, don't forget it. Really keep it. And then if something is coming up, feel free and allow yourself to take that and to look at it and to examine it. And even if you do really write it down, like take it out and examine it and take a deep breath and look at it and let it ground you and let it just kind of, create a balance within you. And work on consistency, because this can get more manageable over time, for sure. So yeah, the waves can get smaller and the judgments can lessen, especially if you really integrate these ways of thinking and you do that consistently over time. You will notice a change, and you will notice that it's more manageable and that you're not so quick to judge a situation or take a situation as meaning that everything else is messed up. Things will seem like they're more within your grasp. Hence preventing spirals, in many different situations, like illnesses, family dynamics, a lot of things like that this can help a lot of those kinds of situations, sort of tightening the grasp on just keeping it close and keeping it down to earth. Okay, that's what I've got to say about all or nothing thinking. I hope this helped, and I'll see you next week. Bye. Thanks. Bye.